Welcome back, sports fans. In this segment, I'm going to go over the South region and all of the matchups within it and have a few predictions for you about this region and how I see this shaping up as well. The top-seeded Baylor Bears, and bear in mind this is the first time Baylor Bears have been number one seed in the tournament, will face Hartford, who went 16-8 this year. Baylor Bears went 22-2. I don't see Hartford giving the Baylor Bears too much trouble, so I believe they'll advance. And they will play the winner of North Carolina Tar Heels and the Wisconsin Badgers, which to me is the first round matchup of the tournament as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be very interesting. The Big Ten was very strong this year, and the Badgers are sitting there at 17-12 as a ninth seed. This is a team that gave the Hawkeyes all they could handle yesterday in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. The Tar Heels didn't do quite as well as I think they would have expected. However, it's just going to be one heck of a matchup. And the Tar Heels do not lose in the first round of the N.C.A.A. tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Not very often. So if I had to guess, I'm going to say it's going to be a close game, but I think the Tar Heels will prevail, much to the Badgers' chagrin. And also bear in mind, these games are in Indianapolis as well, so it could favor the Badgers a little bit. They'll be familiar with certain things, especially if it's played at Assembly Hall or Lucas Oil Stadium, although the Tar Heels have played at Assembly Hall not that many years ago against the Hoosiers. The fifth seed would be the Villanova Wildcats against 12th-seeded Winthrop. Bear in mind, Villanova Wildcats have a serious injury, and I believe that's why they weren't able to beat the Georgetown Hoyas, who managed to win the Big East Conference tournament to make it into this tournament. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been there. I could see the Villanova Wildcats losing this game to Winthrop. I mean, every year since, I believe, 1990, I'll go farther back than that. I believe every year since the three-point line has been in existence, except for 1 year, there's been a fifth seed that's lost in the first round. And if there's going to be a fifth seed to lose this year, I believe it's going to be the Villanova Wildcats because of that injury. And their opponent will be the winner of the Purdue Boilermakers, who are the fourth seed, and North Texas Green, who went 17-9 and are the 13th seeded team. I think a lot of people who are familiar with Big Ten basketball know what the Purdue Boilermakers are like. I would expect them to advance to the second round, and if somehow the Villanova Wildcats get past Winthrop, I could see the Boilermakers and would expect the Boilermakers to beat them. The sixth seed are the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and they will play Utah State. From what the prognosticators said, and especially Clark Kellogg, for what it's worth, Texas Tech Red Raiders are a very dangerous team in this tournament, and he expects them to go far within the bracket. And that may very well be the case. I mean, they went all the way to the national championship game the last time the tournament was held. However, this is a tournament of upsets, and I wouldn't be that surprised if Utah State managed to find a way to knock them off, just the same. The third-seeded team are the Arizona Razorbacks, and they will play Colgate. It's expected to be a very high-scoring game, but if it's going to be a back-and-forth track meet, I would say that favors the Razorbacks to be sure, and I definitely would expect them to advance. And the way it's set up, I could see them getting to the Sweet 16 without too much difficulty. The 7th seed are the Florida Gators, and they will play the 10th-seeded Virginia Tech Hokies. This is going to be another very intriguing matchup. Not really certain what kind of Gators team this is, but then again, I don't know a lot about this Hokies team either. Recent tournament experience would tend to make me think that the Gators will probably win, but we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. But even if the Gators do, they're going to have a tough matchup on their hands because the second seed Ohio State Buckeyes are the last team in this region, and they'll play Oral Roberts, and I expect the Buckeyes to advance, and I expect the Buckeyes to be in the Sweet 16. This is a very, very good Buckeyes team. I believe it's the best one they've had since 2008. Or or actually, yeah, 2008 could be when 2007, since I don't know if they had Greg Oden in 2008 or not. But that year they went to the Final Four. And this team is very capable of it, to be sure. In the next segment, I will talk about the region that has both the Michigan Wolverines and Michigan State Spartans. Stay tuned to Sports with Ed's N.C.A.A. Bracket Special on Ed's Sports Channel.